Thad Brown along with Prescott Rossi here at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, the scene of the crime, ground zero, whatever you want to call it. The Bills lose 47-3, second worst defeat in team history. And Prescott, of all the things we could talk about, there really were no silver linings in this game. Let's start where we always start at quarterback. Nate Peterman, look, he was bad. It wasn't all his fault, but 24 yards passing, 2 interceptions, a 0 quarterback rating. I mean, it really doesn't get much worse. And this is a guy who threw 5 picks and a half last year.
Yeah, that's right. And in fact, of the 3 games that Nathan Peterman has started in his pro career, he has never finished any of them. One because of injury, a concussion last year in the snow game against the Colts, and twice because he got whooped by another team's defense. And today was bad. It was ugly. His quarterback rating was worse today, a 0, than it was in that 5-pick game against the Chargers last year. And I know that Nathan Peterman and Josh Allen are going to get the headlines for this game, but this was a systemic failure of the entire Bills offense. We know the offensive line is bad. If anything, their wide receivers might even be worse, and no one showed anything positive on the offensive side of the ball for the Bills today.
The question now is, who do the Bills play at quarterback in the next game, because they have 15 more of these to go, against coincidentally the Chargers, who come to Orchard Park next week. I don't know if you go away from Nate Peterman this early, because the problem is if you go to Josh Allen, you can't really go back and forth between the two guys. I was just joking with one of the other guys here in the media that if I was the Bills, I'd put A.J. McCarron in, but obviously you can't do that. They traded him away. What's your quick take right now on what you would do if you were Sean McDermott when it comes to the quarterback position in 7 days against the Chargers?
This roster just isn't good enough to win football games the way it looks right now. So you don't want to stunt Josh Allen's growth down the line. You don't want him to have a David Carr? Derek Carr? David Carr?
David's
David Carr.
Yeah. A good one, yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
We don't want a David Carr situation where he's shell-shocked because defenses are in his face the second he snaps the ball. And by making Nathan Peterman the starter, I know he outperformed him in the preseason, but also Josh Allen didn't look ready. And do you want to throw him out there to the Wolves for 15 more games? I think it'd be really hard to go to Allen and then go back to Peterman if Allen stutters or fails. So I think they have to ride it out with Peterman. I don't know how long. They have some tough games coming up, but I don't know that they're going to go to Josh Allen in week 2.
I think that's as valid a theory or hypothesis as anyone could come up with right now. Now, the other side of the ball, I think probably was more disappointing. This defense was supposed to be the strength of the Bills. They were not that today. They got run over on the first drive of the game. They gave up an 85-yard, 2-minute drill. And then I know they were gassed. They were on the field the whole game. But in the fourth quarter, Lamar Jackson led an 8-minute, 90-yard touchdown drive against what was still the first-team defense. Look, Prescott, you go forward with this team. This defense has to be a whole lot better for us to even talk about winning games or competing for anything.
Yeah, and I know the big talk before the game was Vontae Davis and what, he was inactive for this game, and that's a big name that you're putting on the shelf as a healthy scratch. He was there on the sideline. But yeah, the whole defense was bad. I think part of that is, in fact, because they were on the field for so long. I mean, 3 and out after 3 and out. I mean, with no first downs in the first half, that defense was going to be gassed. But the Ravens do not have a spectacular roster on offense, and a lot of new faces on that offense as well. So that was very concerning to me to see the defense just get whacked out here in Baltimore.
Quick thing on Vontae Davis. Sean McDermott, after the game, did not say a word to a question about why Davis was inactive. He did talk about why Philip Gaines was giving the starting job. I wonder, Prescott, you saw him on the sideline. He appeared healthy. Sean McDermott did not mention anything about an injury. I'm totally speculating right here. I wonder if there's some sort of internal discipline why he didn't play in this game today.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't look great during the preseason either, and I think we were wondering, okay, could someone maybe step up? But Philip Gaines has been in the NFL for a few years. Vontae Davis is a Pro Bowler. You kind of maybe give the veteran a little benefit of the doubt that it's the preseason and that he'll step up, but I don't know, man. I mean, Davis hasn't really earned, being penciled in or penned, written in stone into the starting lineup every week. Maybe he just hasn't earned it. Maybe Gaines has been better.
I think Gaines starting is okay, but you look at the corners the Bills had up today. There were only 4. Trey White, Philip Gaines, Taron Johnson, who was the nickel, and Lafayette Pitts. Yeah. So you're telling me Lafayette Pitts is the only legitimate corner you have to back up, and he's better than Vontae Davis? I don't know if I buy that. All right, last thing. You spent the entire afternoon today on the field in the rain in Baltimore, where it did not stop raining from about 9 in the morning until after 6 at night. What was it like?
In a word, bad. It was really bad. We've shot in adverse weather conditions before. I remember a season ender in 2013, Doug Marone's first year. They played the Patriots. The Bills were long eliminated from playoff contention That was bad. I think this was worse because you wanted to see something from the team, and they showed nothing. The only thing worse than the weather was the Bills' performance today. I was in San Francisco when they got whacked around by Alex Smith, and Colin Kaepernick had his coming out party back in 2012. I wasn't there for 56-10, the worst loss in Bills history back in 2007. But the weather compounding with the bad game made this a very long afternoon in Baltimore. So let's wrap things up, Thad, shall we?
I think Prescott said it best. For Prescott, I'm Thad. We're done. Look, next week will be better because it has to be. Tune in then.